What a terrible trouble Ireland has been put into. Helen McEntee revealed, for the first time maybe, that over 80% of the so-called asylum seekers or economic migrants come from the UK. That's why these Nigerians come in. Many of them have English accents because they go and reside in the UK for a long time. They think, oh, the welfare system in Ireland is better, and they come over to Ireland.
Have we any idea how many are coming through the border with Northern Ireland to seek international protection here?
A significant proportion of people are coming through the border now.
Could you give us a figure, an idea?
I'd say it's higher than 80%.
What else do we hear? Well, when these so-called asylum seekers fail to get rewarded with with refugee status, they often get right to remain. Our government is responsible. They're the ones who make the decisions which put the taxpayer on the hook for the massive legal aid bills that we are paying every day of the week for these people to continuously use lawfare against the Irish people. There is a massive welfare bill waiting for us every month, which we must get up and work and go and pay. And we are also the people who are paying for the accommodation of people, for the medical care of people, for the transport costs that these people have.
We have to protect our borders. And for one European MEP last week to say that the word protecting your borders was a nasty, horrible thing to say, or that sovereignty was a horrible thing to say, they're the people who are representing you in Europe. So we voted for somebody to go to Europe to represent Ireland who doesn't think our borders are important, who doesn't think our sovereignty is important. It's important with 75% roughly of the legislation that we're putting in this country comes from Europe or comes from European directives. It's really important that we stay in control of that legislation as much as we possibly can. Remember, of course, the European Union was originally the European Economic Common Market, where countries came together to help each other. That was the whole idea. They came together to help each other. Now at the moment it's turned into a dictatorship. So we're being told what we can and can't do. We've already lost a lot of our sovereignty. We've already lost a lot of the laws that we have in this country that we have control over. We can't afford to lose any more.
Now, at the minute, official figures in Ireland is that over 1 million people in Ireland, currently in Ireland, are non-national. That's 22% of the population. Now, in 2022, according to Eurostat, 250,000 non-nationals came into our country.
The reality is we have to protect the nation. We have to protect our people by allowing people with no history or no past into your country. People that may have had sexual abuse cases behind them, people that have had violent cases behind them, people that were involved in organised crime, that were involved in terrorism, not worrying about what their track record is because we're afraid of offending somebody, because somebody might write a nasty tweet on Twitter, or somebody might decide in the Irish Times or the Irish Independent to call somebody a racist. You know, that's not acceptable. We have to protect the nation and the citizens of the nation. If you were really suffering, you would say, put your hands up immediately on your port and say, I am a refugee, I need help and I need support. And I don't think anyone could turn anybody away from that. But if you're an economic refugee and if you're being told, okay, it's fine, you know, we'll give you an amnesty, that's not acceptable. You know, there's a process there that others have gone through. And I think it makes a mockery of those that came into this country and came through the immigration, entered legally, correctly. And that's bloody disrespectful to those people that did everything right.
What can we do? Well, all these decisions, this incompetence, this refusal to act by the Minister of Justice, they are political decisions made by these politicians. So I am asking you to vote and to replace this political class in Ireland, these hibernophobes, those who hate Ireland and the Irish people, Irish culture, Irish sovereignty. Replace them all before they replace you.
We're out for the safety of our kids. That's all we're here for. And they're not safe in the streets of Dublin anymore, are they? No! Are we going to put up with it? No! What are we going to do? Get them out!
Issues around asylum and migration, legal and illegal, have now politicised and woken up entire generations that were detached or indifferent to the political process. Entire communities are now alert to the policy trajectory in this area, and what they are seeing frightens them. These communities feel an absolute sense of loss of control. They feel that even their most peaceful efforts to ask questions, to raise concerns, are being framed as borderline criminal and as a stealth form of cultural anarchy. How normalised community relations can return in the context of an expected influx of between 15 and 20,000 international protection applicants annually over the next few years.
We have to recognise that Ireland is full. We have to put Irish people first. We've got to turn off the tap of legal aid to these bogus claims of these chancers who come here because of our overly generous welfare system. So we've got to stop legal aid to non-nationals, non-citizens. We've got to look at the legality, stopping welfare to non-citizens, or changing the system if we need to a contributory system. At the minute, a non-contributory system, anybody can rock into Ireland, has never contributed to the Irish tax system in their life, and they can receive a shed load of money from the Irish taxpayer every month. That has got to stop.
But clearly we've had an increase in the numbers coming UK to Northern Ireland and into the Republic, and it's fairly obvious that a Rwanda policy, if you're a person in a given situation in the UK, well then you don't want to go to Rwanda.
I was supposed to stay in UK, but there was a Rwanda plan problem, which is very difficult for migrants to accept that, and which is very fearful for every asylum. So I just came to Ireland.
Also, EU open borders have a massive impact on the mentality and the numbers of people coming into Ireland. It was EU open borders which provided a mental change that anybody can come into Ireland, and there's nothing that we can do about it. That has got to change. And I believe that 11 out of the 13 MEPs in Ireland voted to pass the EU Migration Pact. It costs us our national sovereignty, that we have no more say over who comes into Ireland. It has a massive impact on our finances, because for each person that we say, no, we're not taking in for this relocation system within the EU Migration Pact, we have to pay €20,000 per person that we don't take in. We can't afford that. I believe the government's system of reckless open borders, allowing a large number of unvetted males of unknown origin into the country, has led to an increase in violence and sexual assault. I believe it's very dangerous for the people who live in Ireland, and I believe that the government really have to have a second thought of this and change their direction of travel. Official statistics, official government reports both in Germany, which shows Lower Saxony, there was a 10% increase in serious crime after 2015, and 92% of that be committed by migrants. Also in Sweden, the Swedish government updated their statistic, which shows that migrants are 2.5 times more likely to be charged with, and there has been a large increase in rape and sexual assault in Sweden. And this pertains also France and Germany and other countries. So we shouldn't be naive to think that the impact of increase in criminality caused by unrestricted, unvetted immigration will not come to Ireland. We are a massive public debt already. So we've got to say no to the EU Migration Pact. We've got to stop the taxpayer funding legal aid to non-citizens, and we've got to look at turning up off the tap of welfare, of free housing, free medical care, basically the whole system of free stuff so-called asylum seekers get when they come into Ireland. We've got to stop posing the system of EU open borders, and we've got to decide as a people how many people we want to come into Ireland, what qualifications they have. We've got to know before they even enter here, do they have a criminal record? It's incredibly irresponsible of the government to allow people, we don't know who they are, where they're from, or the criminal record, into the country to commit crimes and assault Irish people. I believe it's actually the government have a large responsibility for any increase in friction that arises from the inability of Irish people to get a house, to find somewhere to live, get an appointment for a doctor. The Irish government, it's their job. Like every other country around the world, governments have control of their laws, their budgets and their borders, and really Irish government with EU open borders and free movement, we don't have control of our borders at the moment, and we've got to change that. We've got to make Ireland safe again. We've got to take back Irish sovereignty. We've got to make sure that it's Irish people who make our laws for the benefit of Irish people, and that we control our budgets and our borders, and we do everything. All laws are made for the benefit of Irish people.
If you found this analysis insightful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your support keeps us motivated to bring you more engaging content. Remember, stay informed, stay engaged.